Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new broadcasting. Today we are completing our description of the new world with a view on the healthcare system, the schools, as well as marriage and family. I hope you are not bored of our going through one institution after the other with seemingly abstract explanations. But without a building plan, there can be no new construction. You must know, and in every detail, how the new world should look like if you want to contribute every day a stone to its creation. When you are working in legislation, in the legal or the healthcare system, in education, business, the media, the arts, or the churches, you must form an idea of the direction into which this institution needs to develop in order to meet the requirements of the future. How can we revive the spirit of medicine? As immortals, you recognize how relatively unimportant your physical well-being is. You must keep the body, your brother donkey, reasonably fit as a suitable tool of the spirit, not more. It does not deserve exaggerated attention. The salvation of your immortal soul is of much greater importance than the integrity of your perishable self. The condition of his body has lost importance for the striving spirit. The healthcare system of the new world will serve not only the physical, but above all the spiritual health of the people. The concept of immortality will remind the physicians and their collaborators that man is a unity of perishable body and eternal soul. This unity must not be arbitrarily torn apart. If in diagnosis and treatment we pay attention to our physical side only, we will not be able to achieve good results. Many diseases have not physical but spiritual causes. The latter are generally more significant. Conventional medicine, which prescribes medications even against spiritual diseases, is scarcely able to recognize and to treat other than physical causes. Spiritual causes of illness are, in particular, ignorance, lack of discipline, and a wrong way of thinking, which induces you to identify with your body, or which produces depression, doubts, suffering, or disharmony. This leads to a wrong way of life, in conflict with your higher self, which also weakens you physically. Here, the cure must begin. In a normal situation, pain is not intended for mankind. Such an unnatural state is the reflection of a wrongly led life. Test yourself and observe what has been laid deep in your consciousness. If depression or offense should live long within you and burden your heart, you must consciously eject them. You should know that they cause many illnesses and impede your spiritual advancement. When you accept this simple explanation, your reason will tell you that it is harmful to succumb to poisonous influences. Disease can be the result of violations of the spiritual foundations or of deviations from the higher will in the past or at present. Sickness comes from sin, so says Scripture. We say that illness arises from the imperfections of past and present. Negative thoughts and other bad emanations can cause illness, both your own and those other people send you, consciously or unconsciously. If you are mentally tortured, you also torment your body. The negative auras of others or of Earth as a whole actually damage you physically. It would be helpful to compile a book about the harm for oneself as well as for others caused by evil thoughts. These thoughts are the source of a great many maladies. It is now time to discern the vast number of extremely diverse physical illnesses that arise from thought. Not only heart disease, but also most afflictions of the stomach and skin are a consequence of destructive thoughts. Similarly, the transmission of infectious diseases may be a result not only of predisposition, but also of thinking. As opposed to that, good thoughts have a healing effect. Exalted thoughts not only influence the nerve substance, but also purify the blood. Experiments with the composition of the blood in relation to the thinking of the patient are highly instructive. Therefore, many diseases can be cured only by a renewal of thinking, by an expansion of consciousness. If you liberate yourself from outdated views that lead to depression and hopelessness, you heal yourself at the same time, both physically and psychically. The shifting of thought is the paramount healer of mankind. May the doctors always look for the spiritual causes of illness. A physician could say to the patient, "You have an attack of cupidity," or the anemia of self-conceit, or stones of treachery, or an eczema of gossip, or a stroke of hatred. It would not be amiss to set forth the true causes of diseases. Who of you would doubt that the way of life of the inner monastery is most beneficial and healthy, not only for the soul, but also for your body. If you get up and go to bed early, avoid spiritual poisons, feed yourself healthily, simply and moderately, carry out physical exercises and spiritual practices such as meditation that bring firmness, calmness and solemnity into your life, then you will inevitably heal your body as well. Spiritual health is the primary basis of bodily health. Precisely prayer, as a real link with the higher source, will be the best purifier of the organism against all diseases. Infection appears when the body permits the entrance of messengers of evil. Each body is predisposed to many diseases, but spiritual strength does not allow such outbreaks to develop. When the spirit can be properly nourished by higher energies, it also protects the body against dangers. A wise doctor knows the higher nature and the higher mission of man. He recommends his patients a progressive, truly healthy way of life, in harmony with their divine nature and with the laws of cosmos. An experienced physician understands that a sickness does not begin when he is called, but much earlier. He will seek the true causes and will thus renew the patient's life. Thus, he combats the roots of diseases. The right conditions for recovery can only be created by sacrifice. This is done by the renunciation of personal will and the sacrifice of those habits or appetites of self-indulgence which were the original cause of the disease. All other treatments but drive the disease from one plane or organ to another. The renunciation of former methods of life, the sacrifice of deleterious and harmful appetites, all these conduce to the recovery of the victim of his own imprudent self-indulgence. The doctor must lead the patient onto the spiritual path. Many examples prove that mentally healthy people who lead a fulfilled life of powerful and meaningful work in the service of a great task are generally not physically seriously ill either. Much to the regret of doctors everywhere, the true preventative measure will be self-perfectment. A state of joy and exaltation is the best prophylaxis. Their higher striving actually makes them largely immune to diseases. Right efforts wipe away the manifestations of contagion. A person who is striving is actually entirely immune. It even turns out that striving is the most effective antidote. The fire born of swift, intense striving is the very best shield. The ancients explained why arrows fail to reach those who are striving. Nowadays, doctors could show how a special substance develops in the course of spiritual striving. As a patient, it is first of all you yourself who must heal yourself. We had already talked about prevention and healing by strengthening of vitality and joy of being in our video on psychic energy. In the new world, the doctors will be true healers, spiritual authorities, which are able to recognize, nurture, strengthen and heal not only the physical aspect, but also the immortal soul of the patient. A new profession will be developed, physician for the healing of the soul. He cures malformations that have slipped into the life of the higher self. The new immortal man desperately needs treatment for his soul, which is weakened by materialism and lack of spirit. His highest good is not the health of the body, but the well-being of his eternal individuality. Here, a vast area of work opens up for the doctors. The immense importance of this new profession is obvious. The old doctor cures the transitory. The soul healer looks after the eternal in man. Such a physician is like a priest who elevates the nation in order to relieve it from its spiritual sufferings. It is no coincidence that in ancient times the priests were at the same time physicians, and that many saints are great healers as well. Physicians can be true helpers of humanity in the ascent of the spirit. The intellect of a physician must be reinforced by his heart. It should be impossible for the physician to be an ignorant denier. The patients open their homes and hearts to the doctor in their need, in their search for relief and understanding. They are more than ever prepared to accept advice on the improvement, refinement, and spiritualization of their lives. May the doctors wisely use this great opportunity. One may urge all physicians of the world to start upon a mission of spiritualization of the heart. Each physician has access to different homes. He sees various generations, and his words are listened to with attention. When giving physical instructions, he can so easily add the most valuable advices. He has the right to be acquainted with all the details of the moral conditions in the home. He can give advice which will compel the occupants to reflect over and above the actions of the stomach. He can even command, for behind him stands the fear of death. The physician is the most sacred person in a household where there is a sick person, if we but had enlightened physicians. The realization that the true self of man is immortal will reduce many unnecessary, essentially hostile efforts of modern medicine. We had already spoken about the inadmissibility of life-prolonging measures. If patients and physicians realize that the well-being of the eternal soul is much more important than the health of the perishable body, then doubtful treatments, which are effective on the physical level only and cause harm to our spiritual nature, will gradually disappear. We are thinking, for example, of blood transfusions, heart transplants, and vivisections, which are permitted only exceptionally and under special conditions. In the new world, the boundaries of medical technology will be defined by the ethical authorities. This example demonstrates society should leave the fundamental decisions neither to the majority nor to the specialists who tend to do everything that is technically feasible. The assessment of ethical issues requires a particular spiritual qualification.